What's up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here, and today I'm going to introduce you to Conjunctivius in Dead Cells. In this video, we'll discuss her possible origin, her last character, and counter play on words of conjunctivitis, which is the inflammation or infection of the outer membrane of the eyeball, also known as the conjunctiva. This infection is most commonly known as pink eye. Ironically enough, Conjunctivius seems to be expressing the symptoms of her namesake, including the redness and irritation of her oversized occipital orb, and the poisonous projectiles she shoots from her eyes that are reminiscent of the secretions that an infected eye can produce. Unlike many of the other keepers on the island, Conjunctivius is unique in that her origin can be traced to the vile depths of the toxic sewers and its ancient counterpart. A bloated corpse found in the sewers seems to have served as the host for Conjunctivius while she was in her earliest forms of development. By the time her host had perished, one of the host's limbs had mutated into a tentacle, which heavily implies a direct link to the beast the beheaded would eventually encounter locked away in the storehouse. Conjunctivius slithered away into the darkest corners of the sewers to seek a more permanent form of shelter, as indicated by the green trail of goo leading away from the host. Further exploration reveals that Conjunctivius eventually found a nest to form a cocoon in, but not without a bit of adversity. At the entrance of her nest, the beheaded finds a corpse covered in lacerations with no signs of infection. Even in her earliest forms, Conjunctivius was a lethal creature capable of defending herself in order to ensure her survival. Upon closer inspection, the beheaded notices a small hole in the wall that leads to not only more trails of green goo, but to a massive discarded cocoon. It seems that after growing for some unknown period of time, Conjunctivius underwent a metamorphosis that resulted in her final form. After breaking free from the cocoon, she busted through a nearby wall to roam freely in the sewers. Based on the notes that are strewn about in the guard's posts, she was eventually captured, chained, and locked away in the insufferable crypt. Flavor text on the loading screen indicates that Conjunctivius is a female, stating that, quote, "Some of the guards tell of throwing bodies down there to feed her. Perhaps she just wanted to play," end quote. Conjunctivius is a relentless foe. She has the ability to quickly charge her opponent, create a devastating force field, shoot poisonous projectiles, and control tentacles that can travel underground at very high speeds. It's unfortunate that the beheaded's encounter ends in her demise. Perhaps she was simply trying to defend herself. She was, after all, chained up and confined to a small storage room against her will. Was Conjunctivius a mindless, bloodthirsty beast, a scared prisoner, or a playful creature that didn't know its own strength? In the end, what we do know is that Conjunctivius, along with all the other inhabitants of the cursed island, is a living testament to the atrocities that the alchemist committed and the abominations that were born from his experiments. Only time will tell the next creatures we meet. And until next time, it's the Inhuman one, signing out.